Most people think longevity is about luck, good genes, or expensive treatments. But what if I told you there are 6 small signs, often ignored, that quietly reveal how much time your body still has? Signs you might already be showing without even knowing it. If you're over 70 and notice even one of these, your body may be trying to tell you something powerful, something that science is only now beginning to understand. There's something peculiar about waking up with energy you can't quite explain. No coffee, no alarm, no reason, really. Yet, there it is, that gentle, steady motivation to start the day, even after a rough night of sleep. For many senior citizens, this quiet energy seems to come out of nowhere, but it's not random. Scientists have started calling this a longevity signature, one of those subtle signs the body gives that it's aging well. It's not about being hyper or running marathons. It's about having a kind of internal pulse, a rhythm that just keeps going. Healthy aging doesn't always shout, it often whispers. And one of the whispers is this consistent morning drive. You'll see it in the elderly who, even past 75 or 80, still get up and water the plants, organize their books, or take a slow walk before breakfast. It's that sense of purpose paired with vitality. This energy isn't tied to external motivation, it's intrinsic. It's not because the doctor said so, or because a family member asked. It just is. That's what makes it so special. It's the body's way of saying, I'm not done yet. We once met Mr. Harold, 88 years old. He'd been widowed for over a decade, lived alone, but every morning by 6:30, he was up, dressed, and outside tending to his tomatoes. When asked why, he said, because the sun came up. That's the kind of answer that doesn't need science. It's deeply human. But studies back it up. Those who maintain an internal drive without external pressure tend to live longer and experience higher levels of emotional stability and cognitive clarity. So what can someone do to nurture this silent fuel? One way is to create small rituals that the body begins to expect and enjoy. A glass of warm water with lemon, 10 minutes of stretching while listening to a favorite old song, reading a page from a book that makes you think, something like The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, or even As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. These micro-rituals aren't about productivity, they're about presence. They gently signal to your body and mind, we're still moving. And here's where it gets even more interesting. This type of energy isn't always visible to others. A younger person might look at a senior and think, they're just slow. But what they don't see is the quiet resilience, the long game. That kind of strength isn't loud, but it's there, stronger than most imagine. It's in the woman who gets up to stretch every hour without anyone reminding her. It's in the man who never skips breakfast, not out of habit, but out of respect for his body's rhythm. This subtle drive often connects with another rare ability, the power to listen to your body's signals, those soft nudges we tend to ignore as we age. And for those who can still feel them clearly, the story of longevity continues in even more unexpected ways. Most people believe that aging means losing touch with your own body, but some senior citizens prove otherwise. They still feel genuine hunger at the right times. They know the difference between thirst and boredom. They sleep when their body says so, not when the clock tells them to. This natural connection with one's own rhythms is a rare gift after 70, and science agrees. It's a strong marker of biological youth. In fact, doctors are beginning to recognize that the ability to perceive internal cues, called interoception, is one of the greatest predictors of long-term health. Think about it. How many elderly folks eat by the clock, not because they're truly hungry, or drink water only when reminded, ignoring their body's subtle whispers? This disconnection becomes dangerous. But those who still hear their bodies have an edge. They notice when something feels off. They catch dehydration early. They adjust their meals when digestion slows. This self-awareness often means fewer medications, fewer complications, and fewer visits to the ER. It's not magic, it's maintenance. Mrs. Evelyn, 91, is a beautiful example. She once said, I know when to rest, because my knees tell me before my mind does. That level of attunement is rare, but powerful. Instead of pushing through fatigue, she listens. Instead of overeating, she pauses and checks in. Her doctors are always amazed at how her body seems to stay one step ahead of the typical decline. That's not luck. That's communication. And it's available to more of us than we think, if we learn to quiet the noise. So, how does one reconnect with that inner voice? Start simple. Before each meal, pause and ask yourself, am I truly hungry or just bored? Before sleep, ask, am I tired or just distracted? These little check-ins retrain the body-mind connection. Drinking water slowly, instead of all at once, helps you feel thirst more accurately. Eating with fewer distractions lets you recognize satisfaction sooner. These are simple tools, but they work. Over time, they sharpen your intuition again. There's also something empowering about taking back the controls. In a world where alarms tell us when to eat, pills tell us how to feel, and routines dictate our day, hearing your own body is an act of rebellion and wisdom. It's a return to your own nature. And for many elderly individuals, this shift reignites something deeper, the sense that they're still in charge, that they're not just surviving, but living, fully, attentively, deliberately. And when the mind stays this alert to the body's whispers, it often opens the door to an even more powerful phenomenon. A brain that keeps firing, remembering, questioning, and refusing to slow down. It's easy to assume that memory fades with time, that learning slows down after a certain age, but that's not always true. Among senior citizens, some minds remain impressively sharp. They still read complex books, recall old phone numbers, learn how to use new technologies, and even ask deep questions about life. This isn't just mental agility. It's neuroplasticity in action. Science shows that when the brain is constantly challenged, it keeps rewiring itself, even in old age. And that rewiring is a direct ally of healthy aging. It's not about being a genius. It's about staying curious. The elderly who continue learning, even small things like a new card game or a different walking route, stimulate parts of the brain that keep cognition alive. Take Mr. Leo, 84. Every morning, he solves logic puzzles and watches documentaries on space. He jokes, I'll probably understand black holes before I understand TikTok. That lightness paired with mental stimulation keeps his mind fresh, his memory sharp, and his sense of humor intact. And it's not only personal habits. Social connection plays a role too. Seniors who regularly engage in thoughtful conversations, attend discussion groups, or even teach others, maintain stronger mental performance. When you explain a recipe, debate a topic, or recall a past event in detail, your brain fires on multiple cylinders. It's not by chance that many elderly people who volunteer, mentor, or share stories live longer and report higher levels of life satisfaction. Want to strengthen your mental resilience? Start by feeding your mind something different. Instead of rewatching old shows, try listening to audiobooks about subjects you know nothing about, like Greek mythology or human psychology. Books like Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell or The Art of Thinking Clearly by Rolf Dobelli can spark fascinating insights. Play strategy games, even digital ones like chess apps or Sudoku. Or simply keep a thought journal, where you write one question a day and try to answer it. There's a hidden joy in refusing to retire your mind. While the body may slow down, the brain doesn't have to follow. In fact, many seniors find that their later years are their most intellectually rich because they finally have the time and the wisdom to dive deeper into what truly matters. And that mindset, one that explores, wonders, and reflects, adds years not just to life, but life to those years. But there's another quiet indicator that often walks side by side with this active mind, a body that runs like clockwork, keeping its natural rhythm in tune without much effort or interference. There's something extraordinary about waking, eating, and sleeping at the same time every day, without forcing it. For many senior citizens who age gracefully, this inner clock doesn't fade. Their bodies still rise with the sun and grow tired as night falls, almost as if nature itself is guiding them. This isn't just a charming quirk, it's a sign that their circadian rhythm is intact. And that rhythm is deeply tied to everything: digestion, mood, immune function, even memory. When that internal schedule flows naturally, it often means the system as a whole is still well-tuned. Most people lose this synchronization over time. Retired life, medications, irregular meals, they all disrupt the body's clock. But some elderly individuals, almost effortlessly, keep that rhythm alive. Like Mrs. Clara, 87, who eats lunch at noon sharp every day, not because of the time on the wall, but because her body tells her it's lunch. She doesn't use sleep aids, avoids naps longer than 30 minutes, and feels genuinely sleepy by 9 p.m. Her doctors say her hormonal markers look more like someone in their late 50s. Coincidence? Hardly. Science backs it up. Research shows that consistent circadian rhythms support healthy aging by regulating cortisol, melatonin, and insulin levels, all critical for long-term health. And the benefits are felt in the small things: better digestion, steadier energy, sharper focus, and deeper rest. For seniors, these small wins compound daily. Even blood pressure stabilizes better in those with predictable routines. It's like living with a silent personal assistant that knows exactly when to trigger every biological system, just on time. So how do you protect this internal rhythm? First, expose yourself to morning sunlight daily. It's one of the most powerful natural signals for resetting your clock. Second, eat your meals at roughly the same times each day. Try simple, grounding meals like oatmeal with cinnamon in the morning or lentil soup at lunch. Foods that are easy to digest and tell your system it's time to work. Avoid bright screens after 8 p.m. and wind down with calming activities like puzzles, light reading. The Book of Joy is a favorite, or gentle breathing exercises. There's beauty in that predictability. In a world that often rushes or feels chaotic, a stable internal rhythm becomes a sanctuary. Seniors with this ability often report feeling in tune, not just with themselves, but with nature, with others, and even with time itself. They don't chase the day, it meets them where they are. That kind of peace comes not from control, but from harmony. And harmony, as it turns out, is a powerful sign of longevity. Even more remarkable is what happens when this internal balance extends to physical resilience. The ability to bounce back quickly, even from small health setbacks that slow others down. It's one thing to avoid getting sick. It's another thing entirely to recover quickly when you do. Among the most quietly powerful signs of true longevity in senior citizens is their ability to bounce back. A cold disappears in 2 days. A cut heals without fuss. A mild infection doesn't linger. This fast recovery isn't just luck. It's a sign that the immune system still knows exactly what it's doing. And in the world of senior health, a responsive immune system often means years of additional independence and vitality. Let's be honest, most people in old age expect longer recovery times. It just takes me a little more to get over things, they say. But there are exceptions. Take Mr. Douglas, 86. After a minor fall, he was walking the next day without assistance. His secret? A lifestyle that includes daily movement, hydration, and simple meals rich in anti-inflammatory foods like spinach, turmeric, and oily fish. I treat my body like an old friend, he says. I don't ignore it when it whispers. That mindset and those habits make a difference you can feel. The truth is, the body gives clues all the time about how much fight it still has. If a mosquito bite swells and lingers, if a bruise takes forever to fade, if a sore throat drags on, these aren't just annoyances. They're signs that the internal repair team might be slowing down. But for some seniors, that repair team is still clocking in on time. And it's not about being immune to problems. It's about how efficiently the body deals with them. That efficiency is gold in the world of healthy aging. So how do you support faster healing? Start with rest, but not the kind where you stay in bed all day. It's about purposeful pauses, short naps, 20 to 30 minutes, sipping warm teas like chamomile or ginger, and giving the body space to recover. Also, consider foods that repair from within: bone broth, berries, leafy greens, and flaxseed. If you're into natural approaches, elderberry syrup and zinc-rich snacks like pumpkin seeds can be allies during sniffle season. And always, always drink water like it's medicine. Because, in a way, it is. There's something deeply reassuring in knowing your body still has your back. For many elderly individuals, this bounce-back power restores not just health, but confidence. Confidence to go out, to travel, to say yes to plans. Because when recovery is fast, fear is small. And when fear is small, life opens up again in ways most people stop expecting past 70. But even when the body is strong and the recovery is swift, there's another sign that often shocks people, especially when it comes from the mouths of friends and family who can't believe how little you've changed over the years. You haven't changed a bit. At first, it sounds like a polite compliment. But for some senior citizens, it's more than just kindness. It's an observation rooted in reality. When people around you notice that your face, posture, or energy haven't shifted much over the years, it often reflects something deeper happening inside. Healthy aging isn't always visible in test results. Sometimes, it shows up in how others perceive you. And often, their surprise is a sign that you're aging better than most. The elderly who hear this frequently usually share a few things in common. Their skin is vibrant, not just for their age, but genuinely well-maintained. Their posture is upright. Their movements are fluid. Their voice is steady. They don't necessarily use fancy products or extreme routines. Instead, they've cultivated unconscious habits that support long-term well-being, like getting sunlight each morning, eating colorful, anti-inflammatory foods, breathing slowly and fully, laughing often. These little things add up, quietly defending the body against the erosion of time. Hormonal stability plays a big role too. Seniors who maintain steady sleep, low stress, and regular physical activity tend to have lower cortisol and more balanced melatonin, two hormones that directly affect how we look and feel. Even inflammation leaves visible marks: puffiness, dull skin, stiffness. But those who eat turmeric, reduce sugar, stay socially engaged, and move their bodies regularly often defy these signs. It's not vanity, it's physiology. Looking the same is often just the surface of a well-functioning engine. Let's take Ms. Lorraine, 85. Every year at the family reunion, someone says, "I swear, she looks younger than last time." Her secret? She walks daily with friends, eats mostly home-cooked meals, and still dances when her favorite song plays. She's not trying to impress anyone. She's simply living in a way that keeps her body youthful without chasing youth. And that's the irony. The less you obsess over staying young, the more your body thanks you for it. This stability isn't just in the mirror. It's in how clothes still fit, how energy remains steady throughout the day, how minor stress doesn't show up on your face. These invisible victories are powerful indicators of internal balance. And when people repeatedly tell you that you haven't changed, what they're really saying is, your body still knows how to take care of you. That's not a fluke. That's longevity working quietly in your favor. And now that we've seen how these 6 rare signs reflect something extraordinary inside, it's time to ask the big question: do you have any of them? Because if you do, your body may be telling a story that's far more hopeful and far longer than you imagined. So, how many of these signs did you recognize in yourself? 1, 2, maybe even all 6? If so, your body might be holding on to more life, more strength, and more time than you thought possible. But here's the real question: are you going to ignore these signs or start honoring them? Because knowing is one thing. Applying what you know, that's when life really changes. What small habit can you protect starting today? What signal from your body have you been brushing aside for years? Tell me in the comments. I want to know your story. And if this video made you reflect, if even one sentence hit home, don't keep this knowledge to yourself. Share it, live it, and keep learning. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and join a community where age is not a limit, but a legacy in progress. You're not done yet. In fact, you may be just getting started.